worked up there for about a week. He was my K9 partner. And then they said I was going to join the rest of my team in New York at Ground Zero and start looking for the black boxes. As a point of record, we didn't find any black boxes, but we still had to look. Okay, so on the way back to New York from Boston, I dropped the dog off in Philly. I passed a caravan, a tractor trailer from Tennessee. All right, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not surprised. Tennessee. That's part of being from Tennessee. All right, and lo and behold, where did it come from? Yeah, Oak Ridge. Totally not surprised. It makes all the sense in the world. And I was, I'm an Oak Ridger, very proud of it. I would expect nothing less. All right. A Knox County Sheriff's Department patrol car comes zooming through our little area. And I'm like, look at this, see? This is great. Once again, I'm making sure, everyone said, see that, guys? That's from home right there. But, yeah, they dispatched people to help, too. And one day I'm sitting there at the FBI command post. The forward command post was about a block away from the crash site. And I look at the tail of a pickup truck, and I see a hard hat, and it said ORFD on it. I'm like, stop it. So I run out there, and I grab this thing, and it said ORFD, ORPD. I said, God bless America, and it's a beautiful artwork. One of the children must have drawn on it. I'm like, you got to be kidding. This made sure everybody in the FBI knew where that came from, when we proudly displayed that up there. And then down at the Ground Zero site, there are hundreds of them all over the place. So somehow they infiltrated the perimeter and got their equipment up there, which is a pretty cool and commendable thing on Oak Ridge Fire and Police and the town side itself. So I think we should thank them for that. Yeah, the past year has been a total flurry as far as our investigation goes. And the rule of law will be imposed on those who are associated with this network. We always will come through because of the strength, the perseverance, and the dedication that we have in our country. We're very unique. And just the fact that the student body can put together something like this, just shows the resolve right there. It's concrete. You can't budge it. And I think that's just wonderful. The President and the Attorney General request that we remain vigilant. It's a very confusing time. With these threats, which way we go, it's very, very scary sometimes. But you got to remember, we are at war. You've got to stay on our toes. You can't lay down. You can't let your guard down. And it's like, what's vigilant? Well, I actually looked it up in the dictionary. So the teachers should be proud that I can still find the dictionary. But being vigilant is to keep watch, to stay awake, alertly watchful, okay? And it is our duty to ensure that we stick to that. We can never let our guard down. In the past year as well, several of our armed service personnel have died in the war against terrorism. And I think it would be appropriate if we should also remember them today as well, because they died for this cause. And the whole world is watching. Matter of fact, every different time zone at 8:45 this morning, every time zone there's going to be a requiem played, Mozart, until the 24 time zones are all covered. I think that's quite unique. But when you go back home and you turn on TV tonight and you look at some of the ceremony down at Ground Zero, they put a large, not a billboard, but a large, like almost a mural in the back. And this is what it says on it. It says, human interest is not measured by the size of the act, but by the size of the heart. And you know what? That epitomizes the spirit of the Oak Ridgers. And that's why I'm so proud to have grown up here, product of the Oak Ridge school system, be a son of Oak Ridge, lack of a better term. And just the opportunities that are presented here, you can take it in any direction you want. But this is just an incredible place, and I couldn't think of a better group I'd like to share the memories of those who passed than with you.
Some of the citizens unveiling our memorial have requested a moment to address you. Those who wish to speak, if you'll make your way to the podium. Now, some of these citizens would come forward at this time.
My name is Brenda Vandiver, and I lost my brother in Tower 1. My brother, Tony Carnes, grew up in Knoxville. He graduated from Gibbs High School, where he was valedictorian of his senior class. He also attended UT. Tony worked for Marsh Insurance Company for 15 years, with the last 3 being a technology trainer, and he traveled extensively across the United States. On 9/11, Tony went to work as most of us did, but he didn't come home. He was in Tower 1 on the 97th floor when the hijacked plane hit. My sisters and I went to New York in hopes of finding him, but that was not to be because his life had been snuffed out by this cowardly act of terrorism. He was only 37. Tony loved New York. He loved the gardens there, and he was a member of the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. He loved the museums, the Broadway plays, and many restaurants. But he never forgot his roots. He would always call home at least twice a week just to brag about a play or a place that he had eaten, or just to say, "I love you." And anytime he wanted to get good old Southern cooking, he would come to one of our sisters' houses and dine at our table. Tony's gift to New York is the $12,000 that was given in his memory for the Freedom Engine fire truck, which was presented to Ladder Company 14 in Harlem this past March. The engine displays a bronze plaque that reads, "From the people of East Tennessee to the people of New York City, we will never forget 9/11. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "You can gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, 'I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along.'" The ceremony today is an eternal memory of Tony and the others with families in Tennessee. Rob Lenore, who lived in New York, Sandra White, who was at the Pentagon, Gary Lasko, who commuted from Memphis each week to New York, and to the many other people who lost their lives. My sister Gail and her family is at Ground Zero today. My other sister is attending other ceremonies. And we want to thank Ken Center and the Oak Ridge Student Council for this memorial. It's a place where we can come to reflect on the memories of our loved one. Thank you. May God bless.
I'm John Lenore, the father of Rob Lenore, who died in Tower 2 that day. My wife Pat is here with me. I want to thank Oak Ridge High School and the citizens of Oak Ridge for their patriotism and commitment to freedom that this monument represents. In my opinion, this beam from the World Trade Center is every bit as much a symbol of freedom as our more famous symbols like the Statue of Liberty, the Liberty Bell, the Lincoln Memorial, and the Vietnam Memorial, and many more. When we look at this beam now and in the future, it will foster emotions and thoughts in the same way that the Battleship Arizona monument in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii does today. They both remind us that a high price has been paid and may be required in the future for our freedom, and that we will always remember our fallen countrymen and loved ones. In my opinion, Oak Ridge is a perfect location for this patriotic memorial, since for over 50 years, Oak Ridge has been an essential part of our nation's defense system. We know, who knows where this war on terrorism will take us. I only know that freedom is precious and that we need to be prepared to defend it. Our son Rob, who was 38 years old at the time, was at work in the South Tower, 104th floor, when the hijacked jetliner crashed into it. He never made it out. He was a fine man, father and son and brother. He left a wife